When we deploy the Palo Alto Firewall, we're not actually using it as a next generation firewall because we're just filtering traffic based on the source IP, destination IP, and probably source port, destination port, and we're using NAT. But this is just the same as any other firewall. So what really makes Palo Alto Firewall as a next generation firewall is some advanced features like the security profiles. The security profiles will be the ones to tell whether certain traffic is actually a virus, malware, spyware, or in certain cases where we want to prevent users from downloading certain types of files such as PDF, doc, or even uploading files that we consider to be confidential inside the company to the internet. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use 3 types of security profiles. First, we're going to see how to enable the antivirus security profile that's going to be used to prevent users from downloading virus from the internet. Then I'm going to show you how to enable the vulnerability protection profile that's going to prevent an attacker that is sitting on the outside network from gathering information from the hosts that are sitting inside our network. In the end, I'll show you how to use the file blocking profile that's going to be used to prevent users from downloading certain types of files such as PDF, exe, or even Word documents. Okay, so I'll be using the same topology as I did on my previous PCNSE videos. So if you want to get this topology, I'm going to share the link in the video description and you can get it for free directly from my platform. Okay, so we're just going to focus on these 3 devices. So this is Linux PC. So this is going to act as a client. We're going to focus on this firewall and we're going to focus on this server. So it's like a server that is sitting on the internet, but we can also use it as an attacker, as we're going to see in a moment. So we're just going to focus on these 3 devices. Okay, so let's begin by going to my Palo Alto Firewall, and this is what I have configured so far. So this is a basic policy. And if you want to learn how to deploy these pods, if you're brand new on Palo Alto, you can watch my previous video and I explain how to deploy policies and also how to configure NAT. So I have created these 2 policies that allow traffic from inside to the outside. So this is going to allow the client PC to access the internet. So this is a lab environment, doesn't have access to internet at all. And I'm so allowing traffic from the outside to the inside by using NAT. Okay, so on one direction, I'm actually using NAT, meaning I'm translating the client PC to the outside interface of the firewall. And on the other direction, I'm using PAT, not PAT, but 101 NAT, meaning the outside the server is able to reach the client PC by looking at the public IP address. In this case, it's 168.1.5 that match to the host IP address or the client IP address 10.1.0.5. So before doing anything else, let's just validate that everything is working. So I'm going to open my client PC. Just before start playing with the policies. So I'm going to close this. And let's see, we should be able to reach, I believe that's 168.46. Yes, we can. So it means the client is able to reach this server. Now let's test back from this server. And should be able to reach 168.1.5. Yes, we can. So this is just a confirmation that we have reachability, connectivity between these 2 servers. So we don't want to start troubleshooting other advanced features or advanced configuration before validating that we actually have communication in place. Okay, that's great. Okay, so first let's see how to prevent users from downloading virus from the internet. And to do that, I have, let's see, I have this file, this PCNSE.txt. So this is going to act like a virus. So if you don't know, this is ACAR string. So this is a string well known by firewalls as a virus, and we want the firewall to detect this file and prevent users from opening this content. And this is how we're going to do that. So first, let's see if the user will be able to access this file before we enable the antivirus protection. So to do that, I'm going to enable this server to allow access on the HTTP port 80, so that the user can try, like he's trying to access a web server and he's going to be able to access this file. So Python 3, that's dash HTTP server 80. Okay, so now let's go to Linux 5 and let's open this. And I'm going to open this in private section because I don't want to store this in cache. And that should be HTTP 116.8.46, and we can go to PCNSE and we can see the content of this file, so meaning it's working. Okay, now let's see the logs for this event on the firewall. So let's go to monitor. So actually we should be able to see some hits on the firewall. So let me go to security policy. Okay, and we can see some hit count there, so 385. Okay, and so if we go to monitor logs traffic, we should also see logs related to these access. So 10.1, so outside 10.1 destination 8888. Why saying 8888? That's not the one I want to see. Just refresh these. Should see the destination to the IP address of the server, so it's taking some time. Okay, and we can see the traffic leaving the inside zone to the outside zone, sourcing from the client N105 destined to the server 116.8.46 on port 80 is being allowed. So nothing suspicious there, everything is okay. But we know for a fact that the client is actually looking at a virus at this moment, and the firewall doesn't know what to do, so doesn't see that as a bad thing. Okay, so let's enable the antivirus profile. So we go to objects and security profiles, antivirus. Now because this firewall doesn't have a license, so some features might not work the way it is supposed to, but this one is going to work just great. So we're going to add a new one instead of using the default one. So we're going to add a new one, and this, give it a name, has lab antivirus profile. Description will be the same. We want to enable packet capture so that in case we want to look into more details to what we capture. And we know this is going to be HTTP or HTTP2. So let's just enable these. Now we have to go back to the policy. Just because we created a security profile doesn't mean it's going to be used. So we have to say, okay, where do we want to use that security profile? In this case, we want to use in the communication between the client to the server, or from inside to outside. So let's go to actions, and here we want to enable on profile setting, profiles, and we're going to select antivirus. We're going to select the profile we just created, lab antivirus profile, and we're going to save this. Okay, so now we're going to commit and let the firewall do its magic. Okay, configuration was applied, so now let's try again. So I'm just going to hit hard refresh on this one. Let's see if we can download the virus again, and looks like we can, but now the connection was reset. Okay, I'm just going to hard reset on this one again, and let's see. Okay, so looks like things are acting different. So let's see if we can download the PDF file, and yeah, we can. So doesn't seems to have any problem. Let's try again once more, and the connection was reset. Okay, let's see if this is related with the antivirus protection or not. So if we go back to our policy, we had 559 hit count. So definitely we should see an increase on this one. So 55, yep, 6110. So let's go to monitor logs, traffic. And so this is the most up-to-date. Yeah, we can see, so by the time, yeah, this is the most up-to-date from inside zone to outside, from source IP to this IP. It's incomplete, but we can see the action is allowed. So the firewall is allowing this traffic to pass through the firewall, but there is something happening in this period of time. So let's go to threads, and this is actually where we can confirm whether the firewall is taking action on the virus or not. And definitely we can see that. So it was detected a virus on from the inside zone to the outside zone, from the source IP to this destination IP. This was web browsing. The action was to reset both. Just mean that the firewall did reset the connection from the client and also from the server. So if we take a look at more details, we can actually see this, and let me maximize this. So here it's easier to read, and we can see the timestamp, what happened. So it was detected the virus and the application, web browsing, the action reset both. And let's see if we did capture actually the packet. And yeah, it did. And we can see here some more detail, and we can export this, and in case we have Wireshark, we can read this file with Wireshark, but we're not going to do this. So definitely the firewall is taking action, and it's able to detect this as a virus. But in some situations, we might want the firewall actually to drop the traffic instead of just resetting the connection. So we can also change the action. So if we go back to objects, antivirus, and let's edit the profile we just created. And for HTTP, let's change these to drop. So we have different options here, so let's just change these to drop. Okay, you're going to save these and commit those changes. Okay, so meanwhile, let's go back to my client and just close this, and then we're going to open again. Okay, let's do it again, and let's go to the client. Open. No, I can't. So I have to open again. And so that should be the one. So first, let's try on enum.pdf. And it's still working. And can I download these? Yeah, looks like I can. Definitely, I can download these. Okay, so let's go back to PCNSE. And now we can see that it's like waiting, processing something, but we can't open the file. So it's because now we changed the action to actually drop. So the connection has timed out. Okay, let's go back to monitor, logs, threads, and we should see now the action is set to drop. Okay, so that's how we enable antivirus protection. Now, the next step is to prevent an attacker from gathering information from our internal servers or our internal network. So if we go to the server, so link 6, so I have this open already, and let's use Nmap. So Nmap is a tool. I'm going to, I can close this one. Yeah, I can close this one because we're going to now see how to prevent scanning from the internet to our internal network. So we're going to use Nmap. Nmap is a tool used to collect information, to get information about network, about hosts, like trying to know as much as possible, like which ports are running on a server, what are the services behind that port, and also is it possible to exploit some vulnerabilities that are found on this server. So Nmap is more than just a scanner tool. Okay, so let's see. So let's Nmap. It's hard to think and type at the same time. So Nmap, we want to see some verbosity there. So the host is alive, and we want to disable resolution, and that should be the public IP address 116.8.1.5. Yes, and just let it run. So it was able to detect like, okay, this host has these ports open. So port 80 and is running this service. We have port 111 is running this service, and also 389. So an attacker might be able to collect additional information if it wants. So let's run with -A. So it's going to try to actually run some attacks directly in case it finds some vulnerability. It's going to try to exploit that vulnerability. And meanwhile, let's go to firewall and see if the firewall is detecting something considered to be a threat or not. So we should see from outside to inside zone. So this is the server Linux 6 destined to 16815. So it looks normal, just normal TCP connection, incomplete, allow, nothing that looks suspicious. And if we go to threats, we're not going to detect anything related to that because we don't have any security policy applied on that security profile applied on that policy. And we can see, so this is the last logs where we're using the antivirus protection. Okay, so but we know that there is an attacker and is trying to exploit the vulnerabilities that he might find on our server, and is going to now run the nmap script engine, so trying to exploit some type of vulnerability. Anyway, so this is going to run for some time. And if we go to policies, we should see a lot of hits on this policy. So outside to web server, and we should see, so there's a lot, around 3,000. Okay, so how do we prevent this type of attack? So we're going to use the vulnerability protection, and let's go to objects, security profiles, and here we should see vulnerability protection. And let's add a new vulnerability protection. So we can use these two here by default, but let's just create our own. So lab vulnerability vuln profile. Description is going to be the same. And let's just add a rule. And let's give it a name like lab rule vul profile, just lab rule vulnerability. Okay, something like that. And so the threat name is going to be any action. Let's actually drop these. And so host any, we probably might want to run a capture, but we can just leave it as it is. Any type of CVE, any type of vendor, any type of severity. Okay, let's add this one. Click OK. And now let's associate this vulnerability protection with our policy. So let's go back to policies, and here we're going to associate with this second policy. So let's go to actions and profile setting, profiles, and we want to associate with vulnerability protection. So we're going to select the lab vulnerability profile. And just to keep things simple, let's remove the antivirus profile from this one. Just set this to none. Okay. And let's commit those changes. Actually, before committing, to go to Linux 6. Okay, already finished. Okay, let's commit this. Now back to our client, we can see that it was able to detect a couple of things there. Okay, like before it detected the ports and the service, and this time it also detected the version of service running Apache, and based on this information, an attacker is able to better create its plan to exploit or to attack this server. Okay, so there is a lot of information that shouldn't be available on the internet for this specific server. Okay, let's minimize this and see if the process is finished. Okay, the configuration was committed successfully, so now let's try to run same scan again. So it still was able to discover those ports. Okay, let's see, it's going to discover the services as well. This might take some time. So initiate OS detection. And actually, let's see if the firewall is able to detect this as a threat or as an attack already. So let's go back to policies. So we should see an increase there. So it's 3,514. So, okay. So it's detecting more hits there. So let's go to monitor, logs, threat, and it didn't update. So let's refresh this. So it should be able to see. Okay, and we can see now because it's running the Nmap script engine, so it's trying to exploit some vulnerability, and the firewall already detected. So let's look at the details for this one. Okay, and we can see, so application web browsing outside web server, and this is the source, so coming from Taiwan. Yeah, right. Okay, so hack 2, the threat type vulnerability, so detected that the threat is Nmap scripting engine detection. And so yep, okay, violent threat protection. No, you're not. Okay, and we can see here some information about it. So the action that we want to set, or that we did set, was to drop this type of vulnerability or this type of threat. Now the expected behavior would be to drop this type of traffic, but probably is not working the way it is supposed to because I don't have a license for this. I don't know, maybe not. Okay, anyway, we can see that the firewall is taking action. It's able to detect this type of vulnerability. Now the last one, we'll see how to prevent user from downloading PDF file. It can be any other type of file that the firewall supports, but we're going to prevent users from downloading PDF files on the internet. And to do that, so let's go back to my attacker, and here I'm going to enable my web server, kind of, again. So that's going to be HTTP server on port 80. Now let's go back to the client. Oh, where is the client? Okay. So here on the client, we saw that we were able to download this file in a PDF. Just going to delete these. Yep. And we should be able to download this file again as well. Okay. So this is normal. So we want to prevent these users from downloading PDF files. Okay, how do we do that? So I'm going to just close these, just cancel and download. Okay, so I deleted the file. I'm going to close this as well. No, that's not what I want. So it should be closed. Okay, yeah. So let's go to objects, and here on file blocking, so we want to add a new one. So we're going to add a new file blocking profile. So it's going to call this as file, too obvious, lab file profile, same description, and the name, let's see, drop PDF. So application, let's choose just PDF. So actually it's going to be any. So it's going to be any type of application. Now the file type is going to be PDF. Okay, and the direction is going to be both. The action, we want to set these to block. Just to make it more intuitive, instead of drop, let's call this as block PDF. So block PDF, any type of application, file type PDF on both directions, and the action is set to block. Okay, we're going to add this. Now we have to associate this with our policy. So this is going to be from the inside to the outside. So let's go to policies and let's edit the first one, inside to outside. So let's go to actions, and here on profile type, let's select profiles and select the file blocking type to be the one we just created. Let's save this. And so let's remove the other one as well. So just to make sure that we're only using what we need. And I'm going to set this to none. Okay. And let's commit those changes. Okay, this is done. So now let's go to our client PC and see if we can download the PDF file. Go directory listing. So we should be able to access the txt file. Now let's go to enum PDF, and the connection was reset. So what happened? Okay, let's try again. Nope, looks like something just happened. Okay, and okay, let's go back to our firewall and let's go to monitor, threats, and we should be able to see something. Okay, no, it doesn't look like. Let's refresh this. It's thinking, well, we're not detecting anything. This is because for files we should go to data filtering, and here we're going to see the log related to these protections. So we can see that the category any, but the file in PDF was just dropped. Okay, so let me maximize these. So from inside to outside, so the action is set to deny. Okay, and the content is a file, and because it is a PDF, it was denied. And we can see here file, we're browsing, action, deny in this direction, inside to outside. It's very low any category but this file, and probably we should be able to capture the type of file. But anyway, this is how we prevent users from downloading certain type of files. In this case, we use the PDF file. So there are other security profiles, obviously, if we go to objects that we can enable, such as anti-spyware, URL filtering, but hopefully now you have an idea on how to use those security profiles on Palo Alto Firewall. So if you took value from this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one.